Good morning, everybody. I'll like to get started. First thing first, before I talk about anything, some of you in another section actually asked me about how you can do the presentation. Again, last week is the presentation week. I hope that you have done your presentation. But I dare say that for the presentation itself, I have finalized your marks if you have done everything right. So essentially, most of you should have your marks, 5 marks for your presentation. You see your marks, then you can do a reflection. If you don't see your marks for the presentation, something is wrong. Like you forgot to do your review, or the review got something wrong. You still have some time to fix it. Like I extend the grace period to be tonight, so you still have some time to fix it. But let me repeat, if you don't see your score for a presentation, something is wrong. Instead of asking me back on what you want, I would recommend you to go and check. This is my attempt to make sure that you really try to find out something, whether something is wrong. Okay, let me repeat. If the marks is not there for a presentation, 5 marks, something is wrong. Either your review is too general, or you didn't submit your review. So make sure you do that. I'll give you a couple more minutes, like a couple hours for that. Okay, so that will be a presentation. Now, during class, on recording, I talk about it. Then don't come back to me and say that I never said that what I want for the review. I said everything I needed. I also put it on the slide as well. So that's it. Okay. With that in mind, then I just want to start the class. I also talk about for those who got your score for your presentation. Some of you asked me how you can do the reflection because the interface is not the same than the previous one. As I said, you can do the reflection for a proposal, you can do it for a political summary, and you can do it for your presentation. So this is it. Okay, so for your presentation, for example, you see an assignment, you see your page will look like this. Then you just go to grades, you see your own grades, okay, and then you just go to presentation. Okay, so yeah, I see all the sections. So that's why this one got graded. Okay, so I click this one. All right, then here you see the the platform for you to do the reflection. So write 300 words here. All right, then that will be your reflection, the place you submit your reflection. All right, but if you have your mark release, then you should also see the deadline for your reflection. For your reflection for this for everybody in this semester, the reflection will be 2 weeks later. It is like what's 2 weeks later? I forgot. All right. So you go and check. All right. I think around like Easter. All right. So make sure you check that. So that will be your deadline for reflection. If you need that 1 mark. All right. So that will be it. Questions? Okay. All right. So with that in mind, then I'll just go through. There are a lot of logistics, a lot of things I want to go through with you. So today the main objective is the briefing of the final paper. But then since we touched on the idea of final paper, I would like to give you a briefing for everything else. All right. For example, how your final mark is being calculated, your schedule for the final few weeks, or things like that. So that would be, and then hopefully I go through the final paper with you. And then I hope that I can also complete the final paper quiz with you, which is like 2 marks. Beyond that, we will just so that will be my plan for today. Okay, and then so this is our schedule. All right. So today we are here. The plan is to talk about the briefing for final paper. Again, I hope that I can do the final paper quiz together with you later. Then we will have the disciplinary differences on Wednesday. So for that one, in fact, I will just ask the peer teaching to be done on that day anyway. All right. So for disciplinary differences, there's an assignment attached to that, but there's an optional assignment. I will talk about how different disciplines do their work. Some students will find it interesting because it's a little bit more critical thinking, and then some students will not find it interesting. But then anyway, this is what I talk about on Wednesday. Friday. Again, it's an asynchronous class on Zoom. What I want to do would be, I will have something called 1 paragraph only. So every one of you can show me 1 paragraph that you have written for a final paper. I'm happy to check over for you to take a look and give you some feedback on things and how you write better. And of course, essentially my ultimate goal would be for you to succeed in your final paper later points. So again, show me one paragraph. I'll go through it, give you comments, give a thumbs up. Well, maybe something to work on, then you can do better. Of course, as you can imagine, this one paragraph only will mean two things. Number one, I try to make sure that I can go through one paragraph for every single one of you. So I will imagine that for this class with 30 students, if 25 show up and show me one paragraph, I should still be able to do one paragraph. If I don't have that many students, eventually I end up with 3 students, maybe I'll just can go to 2 to 3 paragraphs, depending on the situation. All right, but then that will be the plan. I will do the same for this April 10th as well. Do the same for April 10th as well. All right. So just one paragraph. You show me one paragraph, give us some feedback so that you can submit your final draft. So that's the idea. Okay. Then next Monday when we come back, you'll have to do the peer review for the first draft. I'll talk more about how you submit your final paper first draft, but then before you come to that class, all right, Monday, you should submit your final paper first draft. Okay, that will be something that I'll ask you to do. Then during class, you do peer review. This semester, I have something new for everybody. I would like you at the peer review at the first draft and peer review is altogether 3 marks and 2 plus 1. 2 marks will be the submission of the first draft. I'll tell you more about how the first draft will look like later, but then the 1 mark will be peer review. If you need that 1 mark for peer review, you have to come to class. You don't actually have to do the peer review during class, but then I will show you how I would like you to do the peer review. And then during class, hopefully there will be some discussion. I will also assign peer review during class. If you want that 1 mark, so 2 plus 1, if you want that 1 mark, you have to come to class, all right? After I talk about it, after you work on it, maybe some of you can start working with your own laptop. If you don't have access to a laptop, you can submit it later. But then the idea would be you have to come to class to be assigned a peer review. If you don't come to class, there is no peer review, you lose that 1 mark. Does it make sense? Okay. All right. Then this day I changed my mind a little bit. So still an in-person section, but then what I would like to do, I may show you some fancy stuff. Some of you, maybe a couple of you, take this class not because of me, not because of the schedule, maybe because of big data itself. So I would like to show you some data mining stuff that you can do with the data set that you have got to really expand the knowledge that you can do, all right, with what you have, okay? Essentially, I just mainly do data mining, show you like a demo on the data mining. I'll also try to design an optional assignment. Again, it's optional, so I'll tell you more about that in a minute, but that is optional assignment. So if you want to do more optional assignment, then that will be another opportunity for you as well. So that will be what I will do for April 1st. April School Day, but then still not like do come, right? It's not a joke, right? Do come, right? Or also, because it's about clinical summary and observation, if you have questions about it, I'll also make sure that I reserve some time for you to ask me questions about your clinical summary and everything. I'll make sure that I will grade your clinical summary by that time. Does that make sense? Finally, on April 8th, I have some, you know that 3 and 6, the 3rd and 6th are university closed. It's a holiday. So whether you celebrate Easter or not, it's closed. The university is closed. So if you don't celebrate Easter, you can just do something like get ready or get your final paper ready. But in any cases, that will be a long weekend, all right? And then that is a holiday, okay? So university closed. And then with that in mind, that April 8th, I will be here in the classroom, and then I will be here to give you some general reminder, some final reminder after looking at some of the first draft, give you some final reminder, and then as I said, for April, but I don't have something very specific, but then the super checklist means like before you submit your final draft, I have a super checklist for you to really go over everything. I hope that you will do well in your final draft, but then there's what I call super checklist, okay? Then again, 1 paragraph for April 10th, then we end the semester. Questions, concerns, comments? No? Okay. So again, in terms of attending or not attending, you know that the red one is always the days that you don't, I will do Zoom. All right. I will do Zoom on the red ones. All right. Just to let you know. All right. And then of course, this one means that there's no class at all. Right. So don't go on Zoom and look for me. Okay. All right. So this is the logistics for the scheduling. Any questions? Nope. So here I will, okay. Where am I? Okay. Here I will just do a little briefing for final paper. Okay, before I do that, I would like to do a little bit of again reminder for the logistics itself. Okay, reminder for the logistics itself. Okay, the first reminder will be how I calculate your final mark. I repeat myself. I talked about it at day one. We did an activity together, but I just want to repeat what I said. In the ideal world, your marks will look like this. Okay, you submit your major assignment, which include the proposal, critical summary, and then presentation. All right, so there are 20 marks here, and then 5 marks here, 5 marks here, and then you have minor assignment. All right, and then 20 marks. Okay, altogether, this will be 50 marks. Then you do your optional assignment. Then that will be 10 marks. Okay, so before you submit your final draft, the maximum marks that you can get will be 60 marks. The maximum marks you can get will be 60 marks before you submit your final draft. What I actually do would be by April 10th, which is your deadline for April 12th, which is the deadline for the final draft. I will first of all finalize all other marks first. Maybe I didn't grade your proposal, regrade your proposal yet. Maybe I haven't graded your reflection yet. So I will add all those marks in. Then finalize your marks for that one. Then that will be 60, the maximum you can get from 60. Then you will have final paper. Oops, why there's a T? Okay, then you have the final draft, which is 20 marks, and then final paper bonus, which will be 10, and then beyond 90. That will be 10. Okay, here you add up to 90. Okay, here you add up to 90. Then beyond 90, you get some bonus point. So this is the ideal world. This is the situation. What actually happens would be maybe for some minor assignments, you miss 2 to 3. So eventually you end up with 14 marks only. Then here you end up with, what is that? 44. So in that case, you can do more offshore assignments. Then you can do like 16 to get to 16. Okay, I have communicated this with you on day one. If you are not clear, there are still so some said that the maximum will be 10 marks for your offshore assignment, because in the ideal world that will be the maximum will be 10 marks like that. So you can actually do more offshore assignment. But don't worry, there are still a lot on the table, all right? So there are a lot of offshore assignments on the table. I will extend the deadline for the Gen AI readiness. I will extend the deadline for the podcast analysis, all right? And also you can also do peer review of something. So there are really a lot of marks out there, all right? If you know where to look for them, all right? You just look at the course syllabus, okay? So of course, and I said that there will be like the marks attached for the data mining thing, all right? So I will do it on next Wednesday, all right? So those are the marks that you can get, okay? So that's why you can get to 60. I do hope that many of you get 60 from experience in the past. I do have at least like 2/3 of students will get to 60, all right? So before they submit the final paper, but then there will be some who don't want it anyway. So I can't control, but anyway, this is what it is, okay? Of course, there are some students who ask me, when can you grade all the offshore assignments? Because I don't know whether I can get 60. You can do 1 or 2 more for safety, but then I will just ask you, if you already see 60 on your platform, then don't do any more, all right? So that will be the idea. Okay, the maximum you can get will be 60. And as I said last time, for those who already reached 60 or know that you will get to 60, I still ask you to submit your first draft, because I want to see your first draft to give you some comments, all right? Even, of course, submit with the marks. Volunteer work, all right? Sorry, do some volunteer work. But I will give you feedback on your layout, which is the thing that I have never commented on throughout the entire semester. Yeah?
Is the Gen AI podcast one extended to, or just?
I will extend it that as well. All right. So I think 1 more week, 2 more weeks. What do you want? Easter. All right. Easter break. All right. Yeah. For that one, it does not actually attach to things like, for example, the reference list is definitely attached to the critical summary. So that's why I will not never extend that one. But then the Gen AI one is something like good to know, nice to extend your knowledge. So that's why I'll just extend it a little bit, but I can't make it too late. Okay, so that will be January 1. Of course, you know that the indigenous one is always there, like from day one. The like indigenous scholar or something. All right. Family Day is Family Day, so I'm not going to extend that. All right. Last semester I have Remembrance Day. This year I have Family Day. I mean, this semester I have Family Day. I'm not going to extend that. All right. It is what it is. But then I'm pretty sure that I have quite a good range of optional assignments at this point of time if you want them. Okay. But then you can get to 60. Again, no surprise to me that the 2/3 of students will get to 60. Okay. All right. Then this one. Final paper, final draft. I'll talk more about it in a minute. But then final paper, final draft is just like an exam. Just not like an in-class exam. In an exam, one go, you have one attempt. Okay, there's no second attempt. One attempt. Whatever marks you get, this is your mark. Okay, no matter for the labor points or for the bonus point, one round. Of course, the idea in my head, I thought that I've given you feedback throughout the semester, so I will essentially just grade it in a very similar manner. All right, so that's what it is. Okay, one mark. And unfortunately, in the past, and I would say that there are students missing this and that. You will say that I haven't said that anyway, but then there will be students missing this and that. So even though 2/3 got 60, and then maybe another 10 students. 10 students in because this year I have 4 classes, all right? Usually I have 3 classes. So 10 students will be 1/3. Eventually 1/3 will get to 90, all right? But then not everybody will get to 90, all right? Someone will get something here. So you get some marks here, then you end up to like 80 something, all right? And then so that will be 90. Does it make sense? Okay. Again, it's still very possible for everybody in this room to aim for 90. All right, very possible, very transparent for everybody. Most people, all right, 90, all right, it's still very possible. Beyond 90, what does that mean? I'll just want to repeat that. Beyond 90, what does that mean would be, you have to get to 90 first of all. Get to 90 first. Then, you have to show me that you're a good apprentice. This semester, I've been very clear, more clear about what I expect. First of all, your research proposal should not be really going wrong in the first attempt. So you should have already got like 18 or 20 in your first attempt already. And then your critical summary, you should not go really wrong. Most of you didn't go wrong for critical summary. Most of you got like 4 or 5 anyway, right? But then 4 or 5, this is what I expect. And then you should be here for the presentation for most of the days, all right? And these are the starting point. Then I may consider you for the bonus point, all right? So that will be the idea. Again, you have to eventually you have to show me that you're a good research apprentice who are better than most other students in the past. That's the idea. So don't expect that eventually everyone you get to 90, you get to like 100. It doesn't work that way, all right? There will be a couple of bonus points, all right? I ask you not to worry about it for now. I ask everybody to focus on getting 90. Okay, and they're still very doable, very transparent for everybody in this room. Okay, questions? All right, then I would like to talk a little bit about the logistics for the final paper. You have to submit your first draft next Monday. Okay, for the first draft, you will get peer review. My comment will base on your layout. There are like points for layout in the final draft. So that's why I'll give you points for layout. I'll give you comments for layout. You do it well or there's something wrong here and there, I'll give you the pink dots. If you notice, there's some like the color code all the dots, all right? So in the past, green will means what? Do you know what is green? Your favorite ones. Green is what? Green dot is what? No one knows. References. All right. So you got your references, all the green dots. All right. Yellow dot will be style, and then the red dot will be language. All right. So green dot, so the pink dot has never appeared. All right. So pink dot now will be the layout. I will comment on your layout in the first draft. I won't grade it, all right? I won't give you a grade for that one. There will be other grading criteria for that one. But then for grading, it will be in the final draft, and then that will be one of the bonus points as well. So make sure that you do it well. I will give you comment in the first draft. You have to submit it by Monday, no grace period, all right? You don't submit, you don't get comments, all right? Of course, you can still come to office hours, but then you don't submit, you don't get comments. That's the idea. And then submission of final draft, 12th of April, then that will be it. As I implied just now, essentially, all other assignments are due by 12th of April. Whatever optional, you see the exact deadline, but then no assignment will be due later than 12th of April. All right. For the final paper, final draft itself, just like any other optional, any other major assignment, you can ask for extension 1 week. Okay, 1 week extension, free extension. Okay, so but usually from experience, this will only make things worse because you only got more exam after the 12th, right? 12 is the day that you don't have any exam yet. Maybe the next day, but that 1 week will usually make things worse. But it's your call. You are an adult, so I just open it up for you. You decide. There are students, there start to students like previous semester, there start to students who ask me, what if I can't submit it 1 week later? Then I will still let you submit 1 day, 1 mark deduction. Okay, but then I will still accept it. Okay, but then I think that the deadline, the hard deadline will be like end of April because I will have to submit your grade. Okay, I won't wait for you because you one student cannot make it. I will ask you to apply for SD. You know SD? Standing deferral. That means that you do it like later, all right? But then if you don't have SD, you just lose the points, all right? But anyway, usually 90% of students won't get to that point, all right? Usually you just ask for 1 week of extension, you submit it, you get your grade back. That's the idea. Question? No? All right, these are all the class of logistics. Now I'd like to get to the final paper itself. Okay, final paper itself. Final paper itself, the first thing I would like you to do would be, you go to my assignment. You go to assignment. Someone asked me, all right, let me just do this first. Final paper. All right, so you see final paper, final draft here. Final paper here. This is the page. Okay. And then you have the 2 templates here. 2 templates for the final paper and respond to reviewer. These are the, these are the 2 templates. I would like everybody, I strongly encourage everybody to save a copy right now. Save a copy to your computer. Of course, if you have already got a copy, all good. I'll go through things right now. You can notes. Please. Some students ask me, while you're downloading things, clicking, while some students ask me, when can you finish your regrading? Regrading for proposal and clinical summary. Generally speaking, I do not promise to regrade everything before the end of the term. So my promise will be by the end of the term, like the 12th of April. That's the idea. Okay. So I would hope that you have talked to me if you're not sure. But what I'm doing right now would be I'm regrading from the lowest point to the highest point. So especially if you got like 18, you don't get regraded real soon. All right. I have already regraded all the students who got 0 marks. I have already regraded everybody who got 5 marks or below. All right. Now I work on, now if they submit, there are students who didn't resubmit. All right. Less than 5 marks, they didn't resubmit, they lose all the points. All right. But then I'm going to work on the students who got 6 marks. I'm going to work on that, regrade those. All right. In transition in between, I'll also open the critical summary. Again, I don't recall anyone getting a 0 for the critical summary. I think the lowest in the critical summary will be 3. I will start with those, or I'll regrade those first. Again, in my head, those are students who are struggling. Those are the students who don't have the confidence in this course. So I want to give you the confidence first, right? If you get 18, it's just a matter of time. You know what you're doing, all right? So you just wait, please. Okay, so yeah, make sense? All right, now let's look at the final paper. Okay, this is your final paper. First draft, final draft. When do you submit first draft again? Monday, thank you. Monday, you just need this one, this file, that's it. No second file, no second file. Monday, no second file. Final draft, 2 files. There are students who combine them, one I'm all good with that, but then the general idea would be you don't go through all the technical nitty-gritty. But then anyway, you need to submit 2 files for the final draft. I'll talk about the second file later. For this final paper, in general, this file, this is the first file, which is the full final paper. You start with the abstract. Abstract is the, I won't go through the details, but then essentially, if you don't know what I'm talking about, abstract is a new section that I've never commented on. I've talked about this abstract section on, where is it? Here, March 11th. If you don't know how to write an abstract, you should check the recording for that class. For some reason you missed that class, check the recording for that class. Okay, so that will be abstract. Then introduction. I would like to slow down a little bit. For introduction, there are a couple of components. Number one, general introduction, which is essentially your critical summary. Second, definition. Third, set of knowledge. 4, research gap. 5, research question. These are the elements I would like to see. Okay. So essentially what you will do will be, you just copy your critical summary from your group. All right, you work as a group, copy the whole thing to be your final paper introduction, the starting point. Don't need to make any changes for a general introduction if you are happy with that. For the definition, some get the bonus point, some don't. In your own work, if you want to get the bonus point, you may need to make some changes for the definition. But if, as a group, you have already got the bonus point, I said that you will get the bonus point for the definition, you just keep it as they are. You don't have to make any changes. Okay, then you all of you, even though the same thing, you all get the bonus point. Then you have the step knowledge. In the step knowledge, you do it as a group, right? Then you copy and paste the whole thing. Then the whole thing would be like how many orchestration? Sorry, I told you, right? 3 orchestration. Now I repeat myself. As I told you, I talk about 3 times. I hope that I get the message across. I talk about it for the 3rd time now, and this is the final time. Okay. So your orchestration in your critical summary, group submission, you have 3 orchestration. I would like to see 5 for the what has been done. The 4th one can be when the studies were conducted. You can have something like some studies were conducted before year 2000, such as who and who and who. Some were conducted after year 2000, such as who and who and who. This can be your 4th orchestration. Then you can have your 5th orchestration, which can be about sample size. Some studies were working with larger sample, with more than 150 samples, such as who and who and who. But some were working with a small sample size, less than 150 participants, such as who and who and who. That can be your 5th orchestration. Does it make sense? These are to be done independently. Of course, now I say it out loud, so everybody will have something similar, but that even as within a group, but that as long as you write independently, you're all good. You can have the same idea. Then we have the what has been found. As I said in the some of the comment for all of you, I'm pretty worried that if as a group you submit the what has been found already, because they have to be done independently. I'm just worried that there's just one student who didn't get the memo that you have to done independently, then you just copy each other, then you will get into trouble, but not big trouble, you just lose the mark, right? It's an honest mistake somehow, but then I won't give you marks if you submit the same thing. What do I expect for the what has been found? 3 elements. Number 1, whether they did find association or not. For example, you can say that many of the study did find association, such as who and who and who, but some didn't, such as who and who and who. First element. Second element, I would like to know more details about how they found association. Some you can say, some find positive association, such as who and who and who, but some find weak association, such as who and who and who. Something like that. That's the second element. The final element will be one possible reason to explain the possible association would be blah 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 blah, as reported by who and who and who. That may not be who and who and who. That may just be one person. This study explain one possible reason, provide one possible reason to be blah 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 blah. Period. So essentially, the 3rd one doesn't have to be an observation. Also, as some of you may imagine, if all of your 6 studies suggested a positive association all together, all 6 of them, then you end up with 2 sentences. The first sentence would be almost all studies suggest a strong positive association between A and B. Study A, B, C, D, E, F. Then you have already covered 2 elements. To explain the relationship, who and who reported that or try to explain the relationship with period. Then you're done with the what has been found. Make sense? Okay. This is the final time I repeat this. I hope that you get the message. Okay. But then that's it. This is your what has been done, what has been found. This is what will happen in your final paper. You don't do it, you don't get the marks. Then you have the research gap, research question, comment many times. If you don't do it well, I've already told you that. All right, and then you should use the revised version. Then we have the methodology. Methodology here, we are talking about revising your proposal to be your revising your proposal methodology to be your final paper methodology. Make sense? Start by copying everything you have from the proposal to here, then start to make changes. What are the key changes? Here, let me just highlight a couple of key changes. Number one, there's a description. Originally, you just say that you retrieve a data set from FixShare. Now, in the final paper, I would like to see the actual citation. Okay, most of you, or almost everybody of you here in this room should have two citations. Number one, the FixShare citation itself, or metadata for the EV group. Number two, the article describing the data set. Some of you may have the F1000 research. Some of you may have the like a data brief article. So that is the other article that you need to have citation. There are two citations here. Samples, nothing so special. Just stick to what you have. Finally, after you do all the cleansing and everything. Variables, in general, not so new. This is the only thing new. This is the only thing new. Let me just elaborate a little bit. In the past, you're just confused with that. I said that I never said anything about it. Let's see this year. Variable, you describe everything you have. I still ask for a table. Why is that? The objective of the table is to give an overview on what your variables look like. I'm aware that you have written everything in your main text already. But for someone who is reading your result, they want to come back to the variables and see what are the variables. So that's why you need a table to provide an overview. That's the objective. Let me repeat. Because I understand that you have already written everything. Why on earth you need another table to summarize everything? This is just to make your reader easier. Again, I'm aware that you have written everything. This is just summary. Does that make sense? What is it? So you have two rows. Most of you will have two rows. The first row would be the first variable. Maybe you do like life detection. That's your first row. Second row would be your the other variable, which is the pollutants. Okay. Maybe the first row is the stress level, right? The other one is gender or interpersonal relationship. So level of stress, all right, and then interpersonal relationship. Sorry, level of stress and interpersonal relationship. I would like to see three columns. Your variable type would be, for example, just now for everything you said. For example, you have a last satisfaction, it's a scale, rating scale, or maybe it's just a like rating scale from 1 to 10, something like that. Pollutant is just like continuous variable. You have the each of them will be a rating scale, right? So those are the variable type. For some of you who are doing the who are doing like some sort of disciplinary like gender thing, all right? So you have categorical variable. That's categorical, nominal. Does that make sense? Then mean score. You have mean score only for rating scale or any continuous variables, like pollutants, for example. If you have gender, there's no mean score. I don't want to make things complicated, but then there are people who do proportion, all right? In real life, people will just do proportion, okay? But then you don't have to do that. Or for example, you have categorical as well, right? Public and professionals, non-public, healthcare professional and public, right? So that will be no mean score. That will be binary. Then for range, I would like to see the actual range of the data. The easy way to understand should simply be those with categorical, right? You have the public and healthcare professionals. Or for many of you, it's the actual range from the data set. Now it's easy to understand for those pollutants because the actual range is the actual range for the pollutants. But for some of you like here, you have a rating scale. The possible numbers should actually be 1 to 5, right? 0 to 4, right? Okay. But then your range will be based on the actual data set. So for example, the one choose 0, then you start with 1 to 4. All right, the actual data. After cleansing, everything. Does it make sense? Of course, your main text will still write, originally it is from like a number from 1 to 4, something like that, right? But the table, you have the actual number. Does it make sense? Processing cleansing. Okay. For processing cleansing, all right, I would like to see, you just talk about what you need to talk about. For some of you who do statistics, you may have one more line with one more citation. But for others, you don't have any, all good. Okay. But then one thing I want to remind you, there's something called language fonts. Language. Okay, English fonts. Okay. In general, I don't simply take away your fonts because I want to. Okay. You speak better English. I can't speak English. You know that. All right. But you know that, so there are only a couple of ways that I take away your fonts. All right. There's a couple of reasons, not ways. I don't mean to take away your fonts, but there are a couple of reasons. Number one, there's an obvious typo. Obvious typo means that for some of you, I really don't know why. There's a red line underlining that to say that that is a typo, spelling error. You don't fix that. 3 strike, you lose your point. Okay? There's no argue about it. This is the word. You don't spell it right, you don't get the points. All right? So it's not about like whether I speak English or not. This really MS Word highlight the whole thing. All right? All right? So then the other thing, tense. All right? It's also always here, always in this section. Tense. So for this tense, when you talk about I clean the data, I remove something, what tense do you use? Past tense. In the proposal stage, I ask you to use future tense. So you usually use will. Now it has to be past tense. All right. But as a very proficient English user like all of you, you know that I can't simply say that, oh, the entire methodology should be in past tense. You know that it's not going to happen. Because you know that if you talk about the general practices, like for example, an outlier is defined as absolute value 0.3, absolute value of C-score, absolute value 3.29. You know that that will not be past tense because it's still valid. So that's why you have to use present tense. Okay, but for any action verbs, you have to use past tense. Okay. And then data analysis, we talk about it, 2 paragraphs. If you don't know what I talk about, what I expect you to write, you should check the recording here. All right, here, writing about the result, I have a very full description on what I expect you to write, all right, for the data analysis, in fact, for the result as well. Okay. So here is a visualization. Okay, there are a couple of things I want to remind you. Visualization, this is how it looks like. Is it after the main text or before the main text? After the main text. For those doing statistics, you have a histogram. Do you see histogram here? No. In general, the research writing practices will be for assumption testing, you don't put the histogram there. Okay. Of course, for scatter plot, for the purpose of being the main visualization with your scatter plot, you have a scatter plot here. But then you don't use the scatter plot to test the assumption to say that there's an association or there's a linear relationship or not. Okay. The other reminder would be, when we sit together, if you remember one of the days, we sit in the classroom, we do the data breakdown together. So I give you, like, if you don't know how to do the plate, I help you produce the scatter plot or bar chart. Do you remember that day? On that day, I should have already told you everything about formatting. But then during the presentation, I know that some of you changed it, which is perfectly fine. But then I didn't comment on your presentation visualization, whether they format properly or not. So make sure that you format your visualization properly. The things I look for on that day that we did it together, I look for figure number, figure title, data label, access title. If you don't have it, your layout points will be taken away. Okay? Just to remind you, okay? Discussion, 4 paragraphs. Most of you have 4, some of you have 3 paragraphs. What are the 4 paragraphs? Based on the presentation, you should have something like discussion theme 1. For discussion theme 1, you may have 2 paragraphs. Similar result and different result. I've already given you feedback for that. Hope that you can just write it down. Make sense? Second part, or the 3rd paragraph or 2nd paragraph, you have the implications. Last paragraph, you have the limitation. Limitation is a section that I've never commented on. If you didn't present it, I didn't comment on. So make sure that if you want to do the this Friday, if you want to show me a paragraph, limitations can be one of them. That is one of the paragraphs that I have never commented on. Finally, we have the conclusion. Again, it's a paragraph that I never comment on, but if you show me a conclusion, I'll just say, save that. All right. I really don't really care about your conclusion. So you just have a section there. You're all good. Okay. References, the whole thing. All right. Nothing so new to talk about, even though there are a lot of small things. All right. Announcement. There's something new. If you're doing this yourself, like the entire process of the research, you did it yourself. For example, I think in this class I have Bernice, right? Or Alice, Bernice, and Johnny. You did entirely the project entirely by yourself. Then you can just use the first line. All sections in this paper represent my sole work. Or if you have someone doing the literature search together, you do the data analysis together. You acknowledge the other person. Okay. If you skip that section, if you remove that section, or if I know that you are actually doing as a group and you didn't acknowledge somebody, I will ask you to do it again with mark reduction. Okay, so you should acknowledge some other people. Okay, like for example, you share the sources and then you do the data analysis to get that kind of thing. You should have acknowledged. All right, this is the most common reason why you have to acknowledge it. But for some of you, like again, Bernice, Alice, and Johnny, you do it yourself, and everything you do it by yourself. Then you just have this sole work, your sole work. Does that make sense? Yeah.
If they like, yours is like as an example, it's thanking them for specific things, but if we like worked as a group, we like the whole process.
You can just play around with the language.
Okay.
You can just say that we acknowledge the group members who and who will contribute to A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Okay.
Yeah, you can play around with the language. Yeah, but then the idea would be I want to make sure that your paper acknowledge other people. Again, I asked you to, right? You search the sources together, you do data analysis together. So I want to make sure that it's other people work as well. Yeah. Question? You don't have to stick to the exact same language, all right? But then the idea should be there. Okay. Question? Yeah, Cyrus.
In the methodology, so one of our variables, like the average of many different questions from the questionnaire, would we put like that averaging in the under variables or under data processing? Because for the proposal, we put it under variables.
Yeah, should be under variables.
So we wouldn't need to mention I think in one of the videos, I think you said you should put it in data processing too, or one of the older.
Processing. When I say processing, I don't mean that the actual number. I only meant that you calculate the average, the step, the process. You describe the process that you calculate the average. You put it in processing. But for the actual average that you have already calculated, you put it in the variables.
No. I mean one of the variables is an average of
Yeah.
So so I would put in data processing. So the average of these columns was used to.
Yeah. Then that would be processing.
Then what would go in variable?
Variable would be the variable is the average of everything. So you don't talk about the process. You just talk about it is the average. Okay. Yeah.
And then processing if I took the average.
Yeah. So took the average from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then maybe some of you reverse something. Those are the places they talk about how you do that. But the outcome of that will be the variable. Yeah. Questions? Concerns? Comments? Nope. Yeah. Abstract part. If you kind of do not record, then this is your recording. All right. This day, March 11th. Okay. In general, the abstract is to talk about what you have done and what you have found. All right. For the specific requirement, there are some required elements, and I explicitly say that if you don't have those required elements, I don't give you marks on that day. So I would like you to revisit that recording. Okay. Question? All right. So with that in mind, there's some the second file. Do you have a second file next week? No. All right. Final drop. Second file. Altogether, I'd like you to address 5 comments. 5 comments. I would like you to address or respond to 5 comments. Meaning that you don't have to do whatever they say. Some of the peers, the comment doesn't seem to be working with you. Like it doesn't work. You don't have to do everything. But I would like you to respond to 5 comments. What does that mean? Maybe there's a comment that you don't want to work with. You don't want to. No. It means that you don't think that it's really something that you want to work on. Then you say that no changes were made. Then you explain a little bit why no changes were made. Okay, you explain a little bit more here. Or here, you think that there's a very sensible thing to say, then you just say a little bit more about what you have changed. Then you just keep this short. Then done. Then how can you come up with 5 comments? For most of you, you should have at least 2 comments from your peers. 1, you should have from the presentation. You remember that I asked you to do something for a presentation? All right, the first comment. The second comment would be the from the first shot. Okay, in the ideal world, all of you should have 2 comments. Does it make sense? Then you make up the remaining comments with my comments anywhere from the entire course. You just make it up. In some cases, not in most cases, actually this works. In some cases, your peer reviewer is not doing their job, so you don't actually get anything from presentation. Then you only have 1 from first round. Then you just make up all the comments from the first round, from my comments. Okay, you end up with 5 comments, but I will ask you to start with the peer comments. And if you don't have any peer comments, I will start to investigate. So if you really don't have anything, you're all good. But then if you have something that you didn't do it, then that will be a problem. Questions? No? Shall we get to your main business for today? Shall we do a very quick final paper quiz? So I messed up just now. Yeah. All right. Unfortunately, I'm not going to share the screen. Bad teacher. Don't want you to just copy from the screen for those watching the recording. Really bad teacher. All right. So let's get started. The first question. What are the sections that are completely new? Anyone? Abstract. Thank you. What else? One more. 2 more. 2 more. Conclusion and limitation. Thank you. All right. How can I do well in the methodology? Use the methodology section in the proposal as the blueprint. Okay. For the final paper, what happened if I submit the wrong file? What happened? I'll treat it as late submission. Okay. You can still submit. So for example, yeah, I'll treat it as late submission. Okay. Try to make it work. Try to make it work. All right. The best thing you do may be PDF. All right. PDF may be the easiest thing to do. Okay. All right. What will happen if I don't include the acknowledgement section? What are the 2 things that can happen? Mark deduction. Yes, mark deduction. Where is it? Yeah, this mark deduction. And one more. So like other parts, right? You just deduct the marks and all good, right? But what else? You have to do it again. Yeah, I will have to ask you to submit it. All right. You still have to submit it. All right. Dennis will ask you to write it again. All right. All right. This is kind of important. Where are the bonus marks? Yes, thank you. Definition. What else? I got 7, I think. Academic style. What else? Index citation. What else? Language. What else? What else? End of text references, right? And the 2 most controversial one, statistics. All right. So these are the ones, all right, that you get bonus point. These are bonus point, meaning that it is not like, oh, I got no error. Like, come on, you write 500 words in your final paper, then you got no error in your language. Should I give you bonus point? No. All right. So your paper should be like a reasonable paper. Then I'll start to consider with bonus point. If you randomly submit something, I will not give you bonus point. Okay. Make sense? All right. But then in general, if you submit a reasonable paper, I will look for these. No matter what mark you get. All right. Maybe you still get like a 10 out of 20, but then I still add some of the marks in there. Okay. Some of the students do not know what are the bonus points, so you may want to take a picture before you submit. All right. I don't know whether you have access to this, but then you may want to take a picture. But I'm pretty sure that I put it in the assignment guide as well. All right, let me just make it quick. Discussion and limitation during, can we do the same thing? During presentation, our group member presented the same limitation and discussion. Can we do the same thing? Yes, as long as you write everything independently. And the result and discussion, Dennis gave us a lot of code. Can you use them? Yes, you can use them. I'm going to use the citation provided by Dennis. Does it count as the 10 sources? Yes, it can be 10 sources. Okay. I present Dennis the statistical analysis. Here, I want to highlight this. Okay. So you did the research upon too. All right. I know that running out of time. You did the research upon too. If you eventually decide not to do the statistics, you can get labor points. You don't have to tell me. If you did not report everything properly, you just forgot something, you didn't say anything wrong. For example, you forgot the citation. I will not give you bonus point, but you still get the labor points. If you wrote something wrong, for example, you confused regression with correlation, I will take away all your labor points and all your labor points and all your bonus points, all right, for your statistics and data analysis. Does that make sense? Yeah. And number 10, I did the statistic. I didn't do the research upon too. All right. Or I didn't talk to Dennis throughout the office hours and the next few days. Will I still get the bonus point? No. If you don't do the statistics, all right, you may still do statistics, but you don't get bonus point. If you don't talk to me during research upon or office hours. Does it make sense? Okay. Submit. Done. Oh, I missed anything? Oh. Sorry. One more thing. All right. So you got to make Dennis will grade your methodology data analysis results separately. If I report my statistics properly, I will get basic labor points and then bonus one for the respective section. Sorry, I forgot this one. Sorry. All right. You have to do it again. But then you can take a picture of all these and then do this again. All right. All right. Sorry for keeping you for more than you need to. All right. I'll see you. See you on Wednesday. Thank you.
We're